Going live. All righty. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium today. The 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. And why the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. Woo, welcome to the... Oh, man, anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Jersey guys in the house. For everybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. Plus, also, instead of me just rambling on for whatever, half an hour, 45 minutes or more, it's good to talk to just another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before we get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got... There's 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you so much. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. And it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. I say this in every video, basically. My YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook page, which I'll go over in just a minute. Pretty much all called the same thing. That way it dumbs it down for a moron like me. That way I can remember, what it's called. I know it's like, what's my YouTube channel called? Is my Facebook group called something different? My Facebook page, it's all called the same thing. It makes it nice and easy for me. The New York Giants, the Gridiron. We hit the 5,800 member mark. I think we did that yesterday or early this morning. We just hit the 5,800 member mark in the New York Giants, the group. So basically what it is once I get done going live here, I'll spend the next couple hours putting stuff in the group and in the page, which I'll go over in just a minute, right? I try to get like at least 10 things in there every day, but now the season is upon us. There's so much stuff out there. I'm getting probably close to 15 to 20 things every day in there. And not only do I put stuff in there, but members post stuff in there as well. So I mean, whether it's like a video, an article I might be sharing, a post, a picture, maybe something just showing some stats and a ball player, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which is my personal favorite, by the way, right? There's a ton of New York Giants information going in there every day. And the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook my page. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a page. So I'm the administrator. I'm the only one to post anything in there, but it's basically the same thing. And once I get done going live here, I'll spend like the next couple hours putting stuff in the group and in the page. It's the same thing. I put basically the same stuff in the page. Maybe I might be sharing an article. It might be a video I found, a post, a picture, just something showing some stats on a ball player. And once again, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorite. There's a ton of stuff going in there every day. Since the season is upon us here. And tonight's opening night, and we got 17-14. The Lions are hanging tough. The Chiefs hang 17-14. Almost the end of the third quarter. Chiefs are driving down the Detroit 40-yard line. So, but there's a ton of stuff going in there every day. Basically, if I got internet access and if I'm alive and breathing, I'm putting stuff in the group and in the page. Pretty much, it's darn near almost 365. So, and I don't commingle the stuff. So basically, whatever I put in the page, and I'll put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page, right? So I just try to keep the stuff separate, right? So, but I mean, there's a ton of stuff, So as I said, so if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, you go to the group and you become a member, every day, as I said, almost 365 days a year, there's stuff going in there, whether it's the regular season, the off season, whatever. There's a ton of stuff every day. But I said, you can't please everybody, right? So I got my money back guarantee. If you like the page and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, well, all that stuff said and done and away with. Well, guys, it's on. It is on. Football is here. Football is here. Well, what are we at the end of the fourth quarter? At the beginning of the fourth quarter, end of the third quarter. Yeah, I got like one eye here, one eye on my phone over there checking in. So basically, I mean, well, Detroit, if they had the pick six, it would be 17-7, but it is what it is, right? So, I mean, Detroit's, they're not, I mean, hanging tough. I mean, obviously, I guess Mahomes is without Kelsey's not super. I mean, he only had like 80 yards passing or something up until like the final 2 minutes of the first half. I mean, he wasn't really, lighting them up. Detroit's draft looks solid. Jones too. Big play left here by KC. Big play here by KC. Well, I mean, they had a lot of. I mean, just some of them. The one thing is that they drafted the running back in the top. What was it? The top number 12 or something like that. I mean, good ball players, but and then who was it? Campbell they took or like whatever. I mean, I'm not a draft guru and this that. All I'm going by is people who trade their lives just watching film 37 hours a day. Every day of their lives on college guys. So when they can talk about college football, the players and all that, they know what they're talking about. So I take their knowledge, people who trade their lives watching film from here until the day they die. I take their knowledge and I just listen to what they say. And just a lot of people saying like Campbell could have been like a second round pick or something like that. So some, I mean, but I said a guy, it was a good running back, but I mean, was it 12 or something overall? I mean, yeah, Mike Mayock, yeah. Woo. Oh, man, he had some, holy cow, he had some Leatherwood. And who's the defensive lineman they took, number 4 overall? I can't remember what his name was. Holy cow. Oh, man, he had some, holy cow. Wow. Whew. Oh, my goodness. Who the hell? Mel Kiper. Yeah. When the heck was that? That was back. What that was that? 80. Was that in the 80s or was that in the 90s? I mean, that was, man. He got some 90s, right? It was in the 90s. Yeah, he made some enemies there. That's for sure. Okay. Oh man, I tell Mike Mayock. I tell you, whew. I mean, when he was on the ESPN and all of that, I mean, he could describe the guys and, talk about him. Yeah, this kid here is this and that, and he's 6'4", 295, and there's the 3-cone drill and the 4.98, that did the 40-yard dash and 4.82. A little tight in the hips. You always have this about the hips. A little tight in the hips, you know what I mean? But his arm size is this and that. His vertical, his horizontal is this. He's had good game tape, but he can stand about nine hours on the backup guard from Buffalo State Tech A&I University School of the Blind. He can spend about 9 years describing this one guy and all that. And all that. But when it comes to actually picking real good talent, holy cow. I mean, I could have probably done a better job than him. I mean, he took some. Whew. One more time for the hearing impaired. He go, whew. I mean, wow. I mean, Leatherwood, he took like whatever in the first round, and people had him in like in the second or third round and stuff like. Who the heck was that? The guy's first, I think it was his first pick overall, one of his first picks. I'd have to look. I can't remember what the guy's name is here. Raiders drafts. Let's see. Does that pop up any draft history? Here we go. I can't remember the name of it. The name of the guy he took, 2023. No, 2019. Oh, Cleveland Ferrell from Clemson. Holy, he took Josh Jacobs. There's a grand slam. There's a grand salami right there. But Cleveland Ferrell, I think it was number 4 overall, something like, holy cow, Batman. Wow. Whew. That was a swing and a miss, strike 3. Then, of course, he took Henry Ruggs. Of course, I forgot what it was, high pick, obviously. That was 9, 10, 11, or whatever it was, or something like that. I mean, obviously, nobody knew he was going to, whatever's going through that dude's freaking mind as he's driving was like 342,000 miles an hour and stuff. What an absolute freaking moron. What a freaking idiot. And of course, Alex Leatherwood. Holy cow, offensive lineman from Alabama. I said people had him at like, I don't know what the heck it was, like 2nd or 3rd round. He took him in the 1st round. And I said, wow, man. But Cleveland Ferrell. Wow. I mean, what we're going to do, kick another field goal here? Put them up by 6. Yeah, Detroit's. What was Detroit? What we got? Team stats here. Team stats. Detroit's got 255 yards. Nothing too super spectacular. But of course, then again, they haven't scored since like the 1st quarter or something like that. Yeah, the Lions basically the offense hasn't scored since the 1st quarter. I mean, whew, wow. I got his draft history on my screen. Yeah, you don't have to jump over a coming. You don't have to jump over a cone. No, you don't. That's true. That's true. Yeah, but I was always like amazed. I mean, because he could like go on and on for about 9 years talking about anybody. You know what I mean? In the draft, so it always seemed like, he had an eye out for talent and he could describe plays and stuff like that. Really, very, well educated and everything, very knowledgeable and this, that, and everything. But I mean, he just couldn't draft. Jacobs was that was a good pick, but I mean, some of those, it was just really bad. He was a king of useless info. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, he certainly pulled the blinders over the Raiders when they brought him in. I mean, I guess kind of like a Joe Judge kind of thing too, because Joe Judge was good. He was good at talking. You had an answer, you had a question, he'd look you right in the eye. He never, Joe Judge, he'd just stare right at you. He looked right into your soul. And if you didn't have a soul, he'd look right through your body. He would just stare right at you. It wasn't like Joe Judge, but well, kind of, I think, I mean, you stare right down at you. And he had an answer for everything. Everything, Joe Judge, right at you. And you're like, damn, this guy's pretty good. Pretty good. I like this guy. Yeah. Joe Judge was like, we're going to play every game every play is going to have a history of its own. We're not going to we're going to this and that. I'm like, wow. All right. I was getting a little fired up at his press conference, his initial press conference, but he'd stare right at everybody. He never, no, he always had an answer for everything. And when things, and my favorite thing was, okay, field goal. Yeah, there you go. But my favorite thing was like after the this is always funny. The Giants would lose like 37-0, somebody like that. And somebody ask him a question after the game was over. So what was what do you think Daniel Jones's thought was on that when he threw that interception there? And it was 3rd down and 7, and he threw the interception. He said, I don't have to watch the tape on that one. And he came on. If I had $1 for every time I heard him say that, I need to watch the tape on that. Man, I'd be a millionaire. Got my dog laying. Good old Randy's laying there. Oh, man. Well, the Giants, did he bring back Gruden? He was the king. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they're, Well, I don't know if he did, or I'm not exactly sure, but I think their first game together, I think was I think that the GM and coach, I think it was together. They beat somebody. I'd have to look. Because I remember they were walking off the field and they were like hugging and stuff. They were all like fired up. Let's see here. Raiders 2019. I swear whoever their first game was, they wound up winning. Because they were walking off the field. They were like hugging and all kinds of stuff and everything. They beat the Broncos 24-16. It was a Monday night game, and they were walking off the field like all like they were like all fired up and hugging and whatnot. I mean, not hug, but I mean they gave I mean Gruden was walking off the field and Mayock was there and he toward by the end of by the sideline. I'm sorry, by the end zone or whatever, or somewhere down there. And they gave each other a hug and stuff like that. They were all like fired up and everything. But I mean, man, I'll tell you. Well, they were 6-4 that year at one point. Then they finished 7-9. But I mean, Gruden. Oh my God, whew, wow. I mean, you got to know at this time. I mean, this day and age. I mean, maybe what Gruden was doing with those emails and stuff like that, man. I mean, whatever. We're going back into the 60s. Well, of course, they have emails back then, but I mean, stuff like that you can maybe hide or something, maybe in the 70s or the 60s, whatever. But I mean, nowadays, I mean, you pick your nose. You go in a closet. You close the closet. You turn the lights off. And you go and you just pick your nose for a second. Guess what? Somebody knows about it. Guess what? It's on camera. Even if there's not a camera in the closet, somebody's got a camera. You know what I mean? You can't do nothing nowadays. You gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta watch everything. It's really, I mean, in a way it's good, because you don't want somebody like Gruden with calling people the FAG word and stuff like that. And I mean, that's rather disrespectful. I mean, if they're homosexual, okay, that's a lifestyle. Get over it. You know what I mean? But it just seems like maybe he was, I don't know if he was, I don't even know. I don't know if he was calling the people the FAG word because they were homosexual or if he was just calling them FAG word because he's just trying to like downgrade them or something like that. Make them, you know what I mean? Like he's up here and they're down here. I don't know. But, you got to, nowadays stuff like that, you got to watch everything. I mean, everything, Chris Sims hates him. Good. Good. I do that. Yeah. But we got the unofficial draft depth chart. Boom. There we go. Now, interesting. I tell you, the Lions are struggling on offense here, aren't they? Wow. Now, interesting here. Right? So, this is the unofficial. So it doesn't, it's like, oh my God, it's, I just saw this as the first unofficial of the new season, right? But they got Shane Lemieux as the backup left guard and the backup center. Now, once again, once again, say, obviously, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but let's just say, for instance, John Michael Schmitz gets hurt at center. Okay, possibly. They got Shane Lemieux as the backup center, but possibly, right? They could take Bredesen, move him into center, and bring Lemieux and put him in at left guard. So it does because Shane Lemieux is the backup center. If Michael Schmitz gets injured or something like that, certainly doesn't mean Bredesen won't be. You know what I mean? But they got Hodgins, Campbell. And then, of course, Neal, Glowinski, Michael Schmitz, Bredesen, Thomas, Saquon, Slayton, Waller, and Daniel Jones. So they got Hyatt behind Hodgins, right? Wandale behind Paris Campbell. Okay. Then you got Peart and McKeithen, interestingly enough, are behind Evan Neal. Zudu is behind Glowinski. So they got Shane Lemieux is the backup left guard, once again, unofficially. right? But Zudu is the backup to Glowinski. So, and then of course, Shane Lemieux is, I said, the backup center. Shane Lemieux is also the backup left guard. It's good to see. I'm happy for Shane Lemieux that he actually made it through training camp without being injured. I mean, just a straight up miracle, especially after the past 2 seasons. It is basically a season where he almost ended his seasons basically in training camp. I mean, getting injured. But then, of course, we had, so they got, actually, I guess Parrott would be the dreaded swing tackle because they got Parrott is the second string right tackle and the second string left tackle. Running back, of course, you got Saquon's Breeder's second string, Brightwell, and then you got Eric Ray. Wide receiver, you got Darius Slayton, and Shepard is behind him. Interesting. Let's see here. Then, of course, you got Waller, Bellinger, and Cager. And that's, of course, Cager's obviously the third stringer, but you're not sure if he'll even going to dress. I mean, how bad is his injury? We'll find more about that this weekend, obviously. Then, of course, Daniel Jones and Tyrod are the quarterbacks. Now, Lions are driving. We got, okay. You got Sexy Dexy, Leo Lion. So behind Sexy Dexy, you got Nacho, and then Jordan Riley. Behind Leonard Williams, you got Ashawn Robinson and DJ Davidson. Behind Azeez Ojulari, you got Hottie. You got Boogie Basham is behind Kayvon, right? Then you got Bobby Okereke. And then interestingly enough, very interesting, you got Micah McFadden. Oh, whoa, they're driving. Right down the 14-yard line. Look at the Lions go. Well, then again, I mean, the offense hasn't scored a point since the first quarter. So we got what? 8.5 minutes to go in the about 8.5. And at least they're driving. They move the sticks. Holding. Uh-oh. Oh, there you go. Moving them back. Well, even if they have to wind up kicking a field goal here, which I'm sure they obviously don't want to do, they'll still be, but of course, then they're giving the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. But interesting here, that basically the other inside linebacker, if you will, or whatever, they got the weak side linebacker, whatever, positionalist defense. They got Micah McFadden. Behind Micah is Isaiah Simmons. Behind Bobby Okereke, you got Coughlin, and then you got Cam Brown. He's behind Isaiah Simmons. And, of course, you got Hawkins the third, Banks, and Adoree Jackson. Now, behind Hawkins, you got Nick McLeod, and you got Cordell Flott behind Banks. Behind Adoree Jackson, you got Darnay Holmes and Nick McLeod because, I guess, Adoree, I guess, there you go. Montgomery up the middle. Oh, man. Lions taking the lead. Oh, boy, setting the stage here. Uh-oh, going to be a heck of a finish here. Lions hanging tough. So, of course, then, let's see here. You got Pinnock and McKinney. And then you got Belton and Gio. Gio's the second string free safety. And you got Bobby McCain. He's basically the third string. So 21-20, about 7 minutes to go. All right. 9 plays, 75 yards. Well, it took them since the first quarter. So the second quarter, nothing. Third quarter, nothing. Finally, they got something. Well, at least you see it. At least it's a nice, good, close, entertaining game. So that's cool. And you got, obviously, special teams here. You got Casey Kreider, long snapper, that Scottish Hammer. No kidding. Oh, he's the holder. Scottish Hammer's the punter. Eric Gray, punt returner. And kickoff returner. Interesting. The backup punt returner is Darnay Holmes. And then Darius Slayton is the third punt return, and kickoff return, you got Eric Gray and Gary Brightwell. So that might be why Eric Gray, they got him listed anyway as the fourth string running back. But if he's going to be punt return and kickoff returns. Okay. All right, then we got good old D-Hop here. Now, the thing is, this is going to lead me into my next point here. D-Hop is calling out a couple teams here. He's not, well, I'm not saying he's not happy, but DeAndre Hopkins might have a couple of dates circled on his calendar this season. The New York Titans' new wide receiver revealed in a feature with GQ that he's still keeping tabs on the teams that didn't want him after he was surprisingly cut by the Cardinals this summer. And that list includes the New York Football Giants, right? I'm very grateful for where I am. I think I made the best decision, Hopkins, who was also connected to the Patriots, Bills, and Chiefs, said. But when you are a player and some people feel like they're great without you, and then you see what they have on paper or you see what they do, you make those games down as a competitor. And I can't wait to play them, honestly, to try my best and crush they ass, he added. Crush they ass. Okay. All right. I guess I'm not sure if that's proper English or not, but crush they ass. All right. That's from the D-Hop. Detroit Lions, they didn't want me, Hopkins said. Dallas Cowboys, they didn't want me. Giants didn't want me. Then he said, I guess, SHIT. Who else ain't want me? San Fran ain't want me. All right. But as we're going to see in my next little story here, there's might be a little reason why the Giants didn't want him. Hopkins 31 was released by the Cardinals in May, and the team decided to take this is a big one, $22.6 million cap hit to cut ties with the receiver who had 2 years and a $60 million left on his contract. Wow. Whew. But, I mean, the Cardinals are just starting over, right? I mean, new regime in there. They just want to get their own players in there, cut ties with, take the hit this year, get rid of Hopkins off the books, get, I guess, their own new young guys in there that they want to build going forward. And just Hopkins just wasn't in, in the plans. Following a protracted free agency period that included momentum for a deal with the Patriots, Hopkins signed a 2-year, $26 million contract with the Titans to join Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. Now, that's obviously, if the Titans can stay healthy, it's going to be a good team. It's going to be a good battle, especially with them in Jacksonville this year, if they can stay healthy. They were not healthy last year. 5-time Pro Bowl receiver has missed 15 games over the last 2 seasons following a litany of injuries and a 6-game suspension for PEDs in 2022. I don't look at age, but it's some of the reasons some teams might have passed up on me. The number one D-back would have a hard time against me on the island, Hopkins told GQ. Hopkins played 9 games and scored 64 balls and 717 yards and 3 touchdowns last year. So that's not too bad. Basically played half a season and caught 64 passes. So, I mean, if you almost double that, I mean, you're looking at like 120, 125 receptions. You would have, I mean, wow. I mean, and that was for a bad team. Uh-oh. Chiefs going to have to give it away. Wow. Yep, punted away. Lions got it at 34. Can they run the clock out? That's a lot of clock to run out. But can they run the clock out? Wow. Or can they get into field goal range and put them up by 4? Ooh. But if we look, here we go. Now, see, the thing is with D-Hop here, okay? Now, what they did was they signed him, the Titans signed him to a 2-year, $26 million contract with the Titans, okay? Included basically about a $10 million signing bonus. About $11 million is guaranteed. He's got an average annual salary of $13 million. In 2023, Hopkins will earn a base salary of just $1.165 and a signing bonus. Well, the signing bonus is 9.815, but with that, you can break it up into grant 5 years at the most, and that's what they did. But basically what they did was to get his services for like this year and next year, they put like 3 void years on after 2024. So in 2025, he's a free agent, but the Titans got him on the books for 3 more years after that. 2025, 26, and 27, he's not on the team, and they owe him money. They owe him almost $6 million in 2026, and of course, in 2025, they owe almost $6 million. 2026, they owe him 1.963, which is a signing bonus because you split that up into 5 years, which is the most you can split it up into. And 2027, they owe him 1.963 million, which once again is the signing bonus. So, but I mean, for this year here, his cap hit is only $3.668 million, baby. So that's how they were basically able to get him, on the roster this year. They had to give him a big signing bonus, break it up and everything. So, I mean, basically, his cap hit for this season is minimal. Next year, it's almost $16 million. He'll be 32, and it's almost $16 million. But I said, but then, they owe him 6, 7, 8, 9. They owe him basically like $10 more million over the next 3 seasons, and he's not even on the team. And once again, they're kicking the can down the road. So, I hope he does them well this year. I said, because this year and next year, because then, they got him on the books for a few more years after that, and he won't be on the team unless they re-sign him, of course. But they said, so I mean, it's only $3.668 million this year, but it takes me to my next point here, the New York Football Giants, right? And I got this I saw this from Dan Dugan, of course. He said, I have spent a lot of time learning about the salary cap. Oh, let me get over the lines. My phone keeps going blank on me here. 1st and 10 to 34. Okay. Oh, 1st and 15. False start. 1st and 15. All right. But Dan Dugan said, so I try to pass along what I can. I think the top 51 rule is one of the biggest things that's not generally understood. In the offseason, only the top 51 salaries count toward the salary cap. But now, basically, since the season started, every contract counts. So that's players 52 and 53 on the active roster, the entire 16-man practice squad, and every player on the reserve list. Injury reserve, non-football injury list, and the PUP list. All their contract, they all go toward the salary cap. To illustrate how that changes the cap outlook, the Giants, remember, after they just restructured Daniel Jones's contract, I think it was according to Over the Cap, they had $11.1 million. So, so it's okay. All right, here we go. And some people, I saw in some of the groups were like, oh, we just made a move. Oh, Lions. Right in. Wow. A run. 18 yards. First down. Did he run out of bounds? Oh. Pushed out of bounds. Ooh, that stops the clock. That's pretty stupid. But anyway, but I know I saw in some of the groups, people were talking about, after they did stuff with Daniel Jones's contract to get up to about 10 million. Some people, I saw some comments in groups and all and everything. That, okay, well, they're doing that because they're going to try to make a splat, like they're trying to go maybe get somebody or something like that. And so I saw some of the writers like Dan Dugan or something like that said, no, this is probably just so they have enough money to operate throughout the season, and that quite possibly that's what it looked like that was. I mean, just to free up some money with Daniel Jones's contract for this season to give him 11.1 because the Giants had 11.1 million in cap space yesterday, just with the top 51. But now that the season started and all these contracts hit the books, I guess they're down to $1.4 million today. So they went down like $10 million, went from like 11.1 down to 1.4 in one day. So basically with every contract counting, $1.5 million for the players 52 and 53, $4.2 million for the practice squad, and $4.1 million for the guys on the reserve list. So basically, that's almost $10 million for those guys on the practice squad and the reserve list. So that's why that money just disappeared. We got 4th and 2 at the 40. Oh man, what do? Man, you don't make it. You give Patrick Mahomes a short field. You make it. Maybe you can run the clock out, or maybe this, or maybe wow. Ooh, that's a tough one. Did you punt it? Try to down deep. Wow. Let's see. What's this all mean? 1.4 won't be enough space to get through the season with more players inevitably going on IR, practice squad, and elevations, etc. So the Giants will need to make another move to create cap space. So that's going to be interesting to see if they need to make some more, couple moves or a move to free up some more cap space, who they go after. You know what I mean? Patty Trainer said Tyrod Taylor they could go after. They go after maybe Graham Gano. You know, there's a couple of guys that they can. And she also mentioned Adoree Jackson too. I'm not so sure about that, but you know, maybe Graham Gano, you can maybe sign him to another year or so or whatever. Maybe, you know, get his cap hit down a little bit this year. You know, so without touching maybe Leonard Williams' contract and maybe Adoree Jackson's contract. I mean, as I said, maybe, you know, there are a couple other guys they could go after. 1st and 10. Mahomes pass incomplete. Oh, I guess what? I guess they went for it. They didn't make it. Wow, play-by-play. Let me see here. What the heck happened there? On downs. Wow, they didn't make it. Holy cow. 4th and 2. I can't open this up, can I? Nope. Wow. Well, you got to give Campbell credit. He had the cojones to go for it. So if you go by, let's see here. That is a weird thing here. Is because Spot Track, I don't know what, I mean, I go to Spot Track and I go to Overcap, and they always got different numbers. Spot Track has the Giants at $3.9 million, but they were over 10 million or so, like a day or so ago. So obviously they came down. And then of course, you know, if you go to Over the Cap is the Giants at $1.557 million. Dan Dugan said they had $1.4 million. So you got every place you go, they got different numbers. But anyway, the Giants only got about $1 million or $2 million or so in salary cap. So, 2nd and 20. Oh man. Patrick Mahomes going to have to pull something out of his butt. But I mean, see, something like that might be one of the reasons why the Giants also maybe didn't go after DeAndre Hopkins. You know, right now they only got $1 million or $2 million in cap, and he would have cost them almost $4 million for this season. And then, of course, then they have to kick a lot of money down the road for a guy who's over 30 years old, and they only have him maybe for a year or two, and they don't want maybe have dead money on the books for 3 years or so. So that might be one. You know, I mean, so DeAndre Hopkins is kind of like, you know, oh, they just didn't want me. You know, so I hate it. I hate the guts out of him. I hope next time I play him, I hope I get 13 touchdown receptions again. But he also has to, you know, I mean, you know, there might be a reason why they don't. You know, what I mean, so maybe he was just too old. But you know, maybe they didn't want to pay him. Whatever's, you know, whatever they got paid. But the Giants, after all their contracts hit the books, they only got so much money. I mean, right now they got, according to Dan Dugan, $1.4 million. Oh, 4th and 20. Wow, man. What do? They punt and try to hold them? Man, that would be just crazy. Go 4th and 20 at your own 35 and try to go. Wow. But you know what I mean? So maybe that's why, you know, they didn't try to go after DeAndre Hopkins, because they realized that there was a good chance they weren't going to have any money at all. Right? I mean, they're just trying to stay afloat right now and try to maybe get through this season, and then next season they'll have some more money and all. But you know, there just wasn't enough money there. I mean, but you know, the salary cap shrunk big time. They ain't got much money at all. Especially people talking about what do we got? Another false start. Wow, man, they're just killing themselves here. What are they doing? Wow. Woo. Where will this put the Lions in the power poll, right? Huh? Well, did the Lions crack the top 5? But I mean, you look, right? See, I mean, you know, Patrick Mahomes is having, okay night. What's he doing here? What's he doing? It's a team box score. Here we go, box score. Yeah, I mean, so this just goes to show you, right? Patrick Mahomes, I can't even read this. 21 out of 38, right? Do I got the game up here? There we go. All right, here we go. Box score. 21 to 39, 226 yards. Okay. 2 touchdowns and a pick 6. All right. So now, they went for it. Wow, man. Okay. Well, looks like game, set, match. How about those Lions, huh? But, this goes to show you, right? Right? Patrick Mahomes is throwing the ball to Valdez-Scantling, Watson, Gray, Pacheco, Rice, Bell, McKinnon, Edwards-Helaire, Richie James, baby, 1 reception. Justin Ross, Kadarius Toney, 1 reception, 1 yard. Wow, hey, way to go, Kadarius. Great job, buddy. Great freaking job. Hope you didn't blow your hamstrings out catching that 1 pass, you moron. Right? So what does that tell you? So now Patrick Mahomes going to quite possibly, we'll have to see if they get the ball back. We'll have to see. You don't know. But as of right now, he's 21 out of 39, 226 yards. Okay. Right? Tony had a bad game. Good. Is there any rule that they have to go into the season with a cap space? Lots of that, yeah. Well, they can't. They have to have. They can't go in there. I guess they can't go in there negative. They got to have a positive. So that, So I mean, that's quite one of the biggest reasons why they wind up doing something with Daniel Jones. I mean, there's a couple other guys they can go against, but I mean, they did something with Daniel Jones. They asked Darnay Holmes to take a pay cut, and he did. So between Darnay Holmes and Daniel Jones, they saved some money right there. I mean, they can come up with a couple more $1 million. I said Patty Traynor was going over that, maybe doing something with Adoree Jackson if they wanted to extend him. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they want to do with him. He's not old by any stretch of imagination, but if they're going to want, he's going to want, whatever, probably $15-20 million. P-Dot also brought up that I think there's only 1 season, I think was his rookie season. They actually stayed healthy the whole season. So they might want to maybe wait till the end of this. Can he stay healthy? Did he stay healthy this season? What do they want to do? Or are they going to try to maybe get is their 3rd cornerback on the roster? Or maybe are they going to get their 3rd cornerback in the draft next season? Or maybe get their 3rd cornerback maybe in free agency now or something like that. Do they want to let Adoree Jackson go? So I know obviously they're trying to, avoid maybe kicking the money down the road as much as they can. So if they don't have plans on keeping Adoree Jackson around, you don't know if they're going to want to try to, save some money on him this year and, push some of the money down the road. But they don't have a lot of money. So I mean, so as far as any time a big splash, I mean, they can always do something. I mean, they could, if they get if something pops up and there's a big splash, they want to get, I mean, I doubt it, but I mean, they can always do something with Leonard Williams' contract. They have places to go, but I'm sure they don't want to kick too much money down the road. A lot of the money that they got, a lot of dead money they got this year is from Kenny Golladay. It's like $14 million this year. So, but once again, they're trying to avoid doing anything with his, just like, let's take the hit this year with his contract and we'll move forward. There you go. What do we got? 2nd and 5. But I'm saying, but my point was with Patrick Mahomes, right? What doesn't he have tonight? No Tyreek Hill, no Travis Kelce, right? No big star, right? Patrick Mahomes, everybody's putting him up on the pedestal, and he should. He's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But, right, when are we clear from Golladay? I think after this season, I think it's like I think after this season, we're done with him. We got some dead money next season. Some guys got, I think, like there's like 4 or 5 guys. Not a lot of money next year, but I think Kenny Golladay is like $14 million this year. So that's unfortunate because you figure 3rd and 1, Kansas City, timeout number 2. They got 1 timeout left. Well, they still got a chance. 3rd and 1. Oh, 1st and 10. Oh, man, there you go. Well, the game's over. Game's over, right? 1st and 10. They got 1 timeout left. Timeout number 3 with 1:42. They can just take the victory formation. Wow. But now here we go, right? Patrick Mahomes at home, blah, 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 all this stuff and everything, right? You know, what doesn't he have? He doesn't have a star. He doesn't have Kelsey. Doesn't have Tyreek Hill. And what happened to him? Right? 226 yards passing. Is that Patrick Mahomes? 21 out of 39, a little over 50% completion percentage. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. You know, if Daniel Jones did that, he was 21 of 39 for 226 yards with like, we're just talking in the past. Daniel Jones, he's horrible. 21 of 39. Are you serious? And you giving him $40 million, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception? A pick 6 that basically cost them the game. The pick 6 cost them the game. So Daniel Jones threw a pick 6 that cost you the game. 52% completion percentage, 21 of 39 for 220. He'd be getting freaking crucified with what we had like last year with Richie James and Hodgins and Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson. With those guys. 21 to 39 for 220. So he'd be at a pick 6. He'd be getting freaking crucified, absolutely crucified. But then some of us standing back. Hey, he doesn't have the weapons that some of these other guys got. But this guy's got these. Well, right. So then here's an example, right? Patrick Mahomes, no weapons. What happens? They lose. What happens? 52? What is that? 53% completion, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 21 to 39. Nope. Right? I mean, a lot of people, he's Jesus Christ. He's up there. He's up there. He's on the cross, right? You look up there and you take a kneel down. You get a little holy water on you. Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Patrick. Right? He's the greatest quarterback. Well, he is. He's fantastic. But, right? No weapons. What happens? So and of course then their Super Bowl loss, right? They had a couple of their offensive linemen were hurt, right? He was just running for his life when they lost to Tampa Bay. He was just running around, running for his life. He had a hard time getting passes off and stuff, and that's when they had Hill and Kelsey, right? And they had no blocking. He didn't even score a touchdown, right? So once again, this guy we're putting on the cross, Jesus, Patrick Mahomes, all this stuff and everything, right? Right? He has no weapons. What happens? Right? He has no blocking in the Super Bowl, right? Because the Bucs were all over him. I think his 2 tackles were injured or something. Didn't start. He couldn't even score a touchdown. But you give him good blocking, you give him some good weapons. Look what happens. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, so some in a way, some of the stuff when we're sticking up with Daniel Jones, sometimes it's a little true. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is Patrick Mahomes, really not saying that, but Daniel Jones got the 2, right? He had some suspect blocking, and he had he didn't have phenomenal weapons last year. And I'm going to go over in my final thing here, another thing which is going to prove the point of Daniel Jones, getting very little help. So let's go here. The final story here. What to expect when the Giants have the ball. Now, get some stats here, which are kind of mind-blowing, okay, especially against the Cowboys, all right? Dallas defensive changes. Winning in week 1 will not be easy. The Cowboys ranked 6th in the NFL in scoring defense last season, allowing 19.7 points per game. Their team ranked 2nd in turnover differential, plus 10, and they led the league in turnovers with 33 and forced 17 fumbles. Forced fumbles. Dallas' talented defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, was retained and looks to lead a talented unit that's highlighted by Micah Parsons, who had 90 pressures. 90. One defense was one vulnerability in last year's defense for the Cowboys. The Cowboys allowed 129 rushing yards per game, which was the 11th worst. However, the Cowboys spent their first round pick on Azeez Smith. I'm not too thrilled on him. The Cowboys also re-signed linebacker Leighton Vander Esch and traded a fifth-round pick for five-time Pro Bowler cornerback Stephon Gilmore. But, okay, that's great, this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. But, I think he's been, if I remember, this is his fourth team in 4 years. I mean, if he's still that freaking dynamic, if he's that lockdown corner, all that, if he's all that in a bag of chips, why is this I think his fourth team in 4 years? Let's check this out here. Stephon Gilmore. If you're that phenomenal, and he's up there in age, I get that and all, and blah, 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 all that stuff and everything. Yeah. 2020 he was with New England. 2021 he was with Carolina. 2022 he's with Indianapolis. 2023 now he's with the Cowboys. If you're on four different teams in 4 years, don't you, if you're still that, just, oh my God, we got Stephon Gilmore. Oh my God. If you're not still absolutely, I'm not saying he's horrible, but if you're not, they're talking him up like, you got Deion Sanders out there or something like that. But if you're that phenomenal, right? Seriously, why are you on your fourth team in 4 years? Don't you think one would want to keep you at least for a couple years? Let's see here. Gilmore is an upgrade opposite Trevon Diggs and will allow Quinn to call even more man coverage. Well, Stephon, what is he? He's 33 years old. So good luck. Good luck trying to stay one-on-one with Hyatt. Good luck there, brother. God bless you. This is Game Plan. This is from Big Blue View. Who wrote this here? Nick Filato. Game Plan. The Giants added several explosive offensive playmakers during the offseason. Daniel Jones led the league in play-action bootlegs, and I expect that and RPO plays to be a factor in Week 1 game plan. Offensive coordinator Mike Kafka will employ quick-hitting passing attack and zone read plays to slow down the pass rush of Parsons and Lawrence. New York has recently used the run to set up the pass through play action. This season, I expect the Giants to use more pass to set up the run, with Jones' mobility as a focal point and of conflict for opposing defenses. Against Dallas, though, these pass concepts have to be quick. Oh, yeah. He's not going to have a lot of time back there, that's for sure. This one, he's got final thoughts here. I'm just going to go through this here. Final thoughts. The Giants will have their hands full on Sunday night on offense, obviously, and defense too. But they have positioned themselves to compete and win this football game. Dallas has impressive talent on defense, and this game will likely come down to how the Giants' protection holds up against the Dallas pass rush. Evan Neal had a welcome to the NFL moment against Dallas in Week 3 last season. Neal, John Michael Schmitz, and the rest of the Giants' offensive line must give Jones time to find his new toys. Now, here we go. In Week 3 against the Cowboys last year, Jones was pressured. Now, this is just freaking phenomenal. You know what I mean? And people just, Jones has got to get better. He's got to step up. He's got to Yeah. In Week 3 last year, Jones was pressured 24 of 37 dropbacks, which is the most by a Giants quarterback since ESPN started tracking that data. The most in Week 3 last year against the Cowboys. 24, basically 2 out of every 3 times he dropped back the pass, he was pressured. 24 out of 36 would have been 66.6%, but so it's almost 2 out of every 3. And it was the most a Giant quarterback ever got pressured since ESPN started tracking that data. According to Pro Football Focus, Dallas had 35 pressures, including player pressures, in that one game. 35. and they had 27 pressures in week 12. Now, for reference, the Giants had a grand total of 30 pressures in both games combined. The Cowboys had, 62? And the Giants had 30. There are reasons for the disparity other than talent issues, but the point still remains. The team that does a better job protecting the quarterback while harassing the other quarterback has a better chance to win. Giants Nation will don blue and create a hostile environment for Dallas. A win won't be easy for the Giants, but it's achievable. And it would be a great way for New York to kick off the second season under Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll era. Absolutely. But, I mean, that just goes to show you. I mean, just the pressure. I mean, just, I mean, and I mean, I mean, sometimes you just shake your head. I mean, some of it, what we're talking about, trying to, obviously, I'm certainly not saying Daniel Jones is the greatest quarter or whatever. But sometimes there's reasons why. He does the things he does. I mean, he was pressured, almost 2 out of every 3 times in week 3. I mean, he drops back the pass, and he's got guys all, And of course, Evan Neal gives up 3 sacks, and so it's going to be a lot of it's going to be in the trenches. Can the Giants, if they can get Saquon going, running, I mean, because that's going to be huge. Because if they can start, because Dallas is be a little weak up the middle, but the running defense is going to be a little suspect. So especially if they get Saquon, because I mean, if you can get Hyatt on the field, and maybe Campbell and maybe Slayton and then Waller, those 4 guys that's between Campbell, Slayton, and Hyatt, that speed, whoo, and then you got Hyatt, whoo, Waller, woo, what I mean? I mean, that's, put those 4 guys out there, and it's like, the Dallas defense is like, oh my God, you make one wrong mistake, could be looking at 6. But then if you got Saquon in the backfield, if you can just start getting him going, get pounding the rock with him, even if you don't get a bunch of yards early on, if you can just maybe try to keep continuing, keep giving the ball, keep pounding them, maybe in the second half, some of that stuff starts opening up. And if you can start, make it where, they can hand the ball off to Saquon, without them bringing guys in the box, I mean, that would be huge, because then if they start bringing guys down and start cheating or stopping the run, and then that opens up this down the field. That would be huge. Okay. Dallas defense. Let Jones beat them. Well, that's possible. That's possible. That's what, like what Belichick does. He tries to take away what you do best. Let your weakest, hey, Daniel Jones, if you're going to beat us, God bless you, brother. Right? I mean, I might be like, God bless you, Dan. If you could beat us, okay, cool. We tip your cap to Saquon's not going to beat us. But it's good. I mean, some good, interesting chess matches, like who's Brandon Cooks going up against, which one of our cornerbacks is going to be lined up against him. Our cornerback's going to be following him. Like, is Hawkins going to be on him, whether Crooks is on this side or that side, or is Banks going to be on one side and Hawkins just going to stay specifically on the other? Is Jackson just going to follow CeeDee Lamb wherever he goes, or is Jackson just going to pretty much stay in the slot? And if Cooks is in the slot and CeeDee Lamb goes out wide, is Jackson just going to stay on Cook? A lot of interesting stuff. We got to get some pressure. We didn't get one freaking sack on their quarterback. I mean, even in the game we had Cooper Rush. We couldn't get a sack on Cooper Rush. We had some hits. I think Kayvon had 5 hits, I think, on the quarterback in the Thanksgiving game. I mean, he had a very good game. But we didn't get 1 sack. That's tough. I mean, Dak is very good getting the ball off. Got to try to fluster him, though, because he's good at throwing some interceptions, too. So So it's going to be really, really interesting. I think the Giants will do a better job at, obviously stopping the run. I don't want to have to see this freaking moron out there. Zeke doing that after he gains like a 6-yard run, he gets up. Feed me the ball. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I want to see that. Although I hope he does very good against the Eagles because that's who the Eagles are playing this week, the Patriots. And I think it's in New England, so I'm a big Zeke fan this weekend. Hopefully I'll see some of this weekend. Can't stand the Eagles, but it's going to be very interesting, very, very interesting. So, well, there we go. We made an hour. All right, I'll be back again tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be something else to talk about. Hey, Lions 1-0. So I guess tomorrow would be right. But tomorrow would be the power rankings. Detroit will be number 1 then, right? They'll be number. But it just goes to show you, right? Even with Patrick Mahomes has no stars to throw the ball to. And not that the Lions are a bad team, but but Patrick Mahomes didn't. Well, then again, I only saw a little bit of the game, so. But 21 out of 39. Even if Patrick Mahomes doesn't have they miss Kelsey big time. So, right, even Patrick Mahomes can be susceptible to lack of talent. So, just goes to show you. All right, so whoever spent any time, Jersey guys, good talking to you, brother. We'll be back again tomorrow. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. So always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.